Greetings, Missouri Mid-South. I'm going to catch you up this week on a couple of housekeeping items in the life of the conference. First, the sale of the final 10 acres of TAMBO was completed this week. This sale held the same conditions as the previous two sales. We have the first right of refusal if the buyers want to sell in the future. They may only use it for residential purposes. There can be no sale of timber without our permission, etc. We listed the land for $174,900, and we had a cash buyer who gave us the full asking price. After closing fees and other expenses, our total income from this piece of land is just over $165,000. This means that our total income from the three separate TAMBO sales equals about $1,023,500. 10% of that has been set aside for the Pursuing Justice and Equity team to use to combat white supremacy in the Missouri Mid-South Conference. And that team is hard at work to put a plan in place to use those funds right away. 30% of the total income has been set aside to support the MoVal Capital campaign, which is also in the works. And the remainder goes into use to cover the shortfalls of MoVal operating costs for 2022 and 2023, and then into general use. It's been a relief to have our operating buffer restored after a couple of very expensive years, but we're also aware that we still need to be careful as expenses continue to increase, and OCWM giving has been a bit strained in 2024. OCWM giving held strong in 22 and 23, but we've begun to see giving from churches start to decline. And just as you're making hard choices in your churches, we too are aware that we may not be able to do all the things that we want to do. Summer especially is the hardest time for the conference's cash flow. Our operating costs are highest because our outdoor ministries are in full swing, and meanwhile, OCWM giving tends to decrease in the summer. This year is no different. So the TAMBO sales have provided a helpful buffer, but we can't forget that it's a one-time infusion, and once it's gone, it's gone. We're not going to be able to continue as we've been going. In that vein, and this is the second housekeeping item I've got for you today, one of the stewardship decisions that the board of directors has made for this year is that conference annual gathering will return to an all online format again for 2024. As much as we wanted to be able to bring our clergy and delegates together in person, an in-person format is considerably more expensive to produce, and the costs were going to be way too high this year. We would have had to increase your registration fees quite a lot, and we were still looking at a significant expense that we couldn't responsibly assume. I'm disappointed, and I'm sure that many of you are as well. We're hoping that 2025 will bring many opportunities for in-person gatherings, with renewed interest in the Persons in Ministry retreat, Synod, RJE and BAT trainings, and probably an in-person CAG next year as well. We'll have a lot of chances to be together in the future. We just needed to hit the brakes on it this year. Please let me know if you would like to be part of making any of that happen. We need funds, of course, and we also need volunteers to help with planning and execution of all these events. Please reach out if you would like to be involved in shaping the conference community.